Okay, here we go. Here's the 4 steps. Step number 1, you got to get job leads, right? So you should be networking. That's right, networking. Don't make that face. Write it down. Just write it down. Okay, the next step is applying for the jobs. People in your network are going to give you leads to jobs, and you're going to have to apply for them. Okay, write that down. Applying for jobs. The next step, after you apply for some jobs, you're eventually going to get a what? An interview. That's our topic today, is interviewing. And in order for all of it to yield a job, you have to, listen to me, you have to follow up. So we're going to talk about how you follow up on all of the steps. Okay, let me give it to you again. Are you writing? Get the pen. Go get another one if you have to. Okay, here we go. Networking, that's going to get you the job leads. Applying for the job leads that you got, applying, interviewing, and following up on all the activity that you had up until now. That's how this works. Today, we're going to talk about interviewing. Now, I hope that you're following me on social media. Please follow me at Miss D, the Job Coach. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram. You can also join my, what do you call that thing? I don't know. Go to the website and click on the button and put your information in so that you can get my newsletter. www.msd-thejobcoach.com. Miss D, the Job Coach. That's me, Margaret DeBalot. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, so I said we're going to work on the steps, right? We're going to work on interviewing today. Now, for the last several months, you've come here and you've listened to me talk to you about interviewing. But I promised you that I was doing it different this year. I'm going to bring people in that are going to have the conversation with me about the 4 steps, because there are people out there in the community that know just as much or sometimes more than I do about these topics. That's right, more than me. Listen, I don't do all this by myself. I know you think that I do it by myself, but I've got a tribe of people that help me. I've got DJ CEO over there that makes me sound like a star. I love that on In Touch News Radio. And I've got a technician on the other side of the glass. He makes me look pretty on YouTube. If you're not following us on In Touch News on YouTube, you should be. And I decided to invite in a guest. That's right, a guest. So I've got an amazing guy with me today. Listen, I met this guy, I think it was behind a tree at a no. That's not him. That's not him. He's not a behind the tree kind of guy. He's more upright and upstanding than that. Now, Rick Grant, listen, he and I bumped into each other literally at an event, and I said, "Hey, what do you do?" Which is what I ask everybody. "Hey, what do you do?" And he said, "Well, I'm the CEO of Rick Grant Consulting." I was like, CEO of something. Ooh, I must know this person, right? And after we spent some time together, I learned that he has an amazing resume. Listen, I am not going to bore you with all the information in this fella's resume. But when I saw his resume, I said, this is a guy that absolutely can add value to what I do here on Working Wednesday, giving you a perspective, a professional perspective as someone who has hired and trained many, many people over the course of his career. It's a very mature career, more than 20 years of industry experience, doing a variety of things. He is multi-talented. And listen, without me, he's sitting over here going, "Oh my God, Miss D, that's enough. That's enough." Good morning, Mr. Grant. How are you today?
Good morning. Wow, how do I follow that up? Good night.
Oh gosh, It's just talk. It's just a conversation. Hey, listen, I invite people in, and the thing that I told you when you got here was this is just a conversation. You know, people are so, I think intimidated is the word, about their professionalism, and, you know, they hear people talk about interviews and recruiting, and those are just things that people get scared. They don't know what they're supposed to say. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They go into the room and they think that the person on the other side of the desk wants to, I don't know, dissect them or something. Yeah. Right? And they get scared.
They get scared. You know, they'll come into the, like, I interviewed a girl just about, I think last summer. We're looking for a new, let me give you a little backstory. I have my sister and I run a law firm in New York, and we do pretty well. I mean, we've done pretty well in the law firm. We do real estate law, so we hire law clerks.
Oh, okay.
So my job is to get the law clerks in and hire them and find them and hire them and bring them in. So I interviewed this one girl. She was really pretty cool. She was nice. She was doing well. I could tell she was very nervous, and so. After the interview is over, you know, I took a look at her resume one more time. I said, "This is a girl I could possibly hire," and I did something that a lot of interviewers are now doing. They check your
social media.
Yep. I checked her social media, and it was terrible. And so she lost out on the last second because you know the social media thing component was very big for me, because that, you know, when you represent our company,
right.
You can't be saying certain things, doing certain things, have a certain look online.
Right.
It just was not conducive.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people say to me, you know, my professional life and my personal life are two different things. And I said, you know, it would be great if the world agreed with you. Unfortunately, the world does not agree. The world says, I want to know who you are, the whole you, you know, people. Yes. Okay. So you and I were having this conversation as I was driving in this morning. We were talking about the fact that we are radio people, right?
Yes.
And radio has become TV, you know, so we're on YouTube and you know, I've got the social media. Yeah, because people want to see, right? They don't just want to hear voices anymore. They want to see what's going on behind the scenes. They want to see when DJ CEO drops his pen on the floor. I don't know why they want to see all that nonsense, but they do. They want to know what's going on. What are you guys really doing, you know? And that's what employers do too.
Exactly.
When they go look at your social media, they go, okay, you showed up in my office and you had a good face on for about 45 minutes for the interview.
Doing all right, yeah.
And then it's, you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. You know, I talk to young people, especially as they're beginning to build their digital presence. And I talk to them about, yes, you have a freedom of expression and all of that. But what employers have found is that the double-sided person, they're not sure which version of you is going to show up.
Exactly.
They're not sure if you're representing their brand, their business. They want to be sure that it's not going to, what do you want to say, bite them in the butt?
Yes, come back to bite them, basically. That's what it is. Come back to bite them. And when you put stuff on social media, even if you delete it, it's going to be out there.
Right. It's still part of your digital footprint.
It's not going to go away.
Right. Once you establish that digital footprint.
Digital.
The digital footprint. Once you establish it, unfortunately, it follows you. You know, there's some stuff in my digital footprint that I probably want, you know, to get rid of too. I can go check on that.
You never get rid of it. Once it's out there, it is out there.
Yeah. Yeah. As a person who's worked in human resources, people say, you know, what are they going to find in my background? And I'm like, they can find anything, because the programs that companies use do different types of searches. So I simply say, if there's something out there, get in front of it. Share with them who you are. Share with them. People want to know who you really are, not just your interview face. I tell people, don't fake it. Don't fake it. If you've got something in your past that you're not necessarily proud of, simply say that I did some things in my past that, to be perfectly honest, I'm not proud of them. Yeah.
Up front.
Yeah, because the worst thing that can happen is they find out later, right? Like that young lady in your case.
Yeah.
You found out later and you were like, ooh, no, that's okay.
Like, oh my goodness. This is no. But
So okay,
we
let's give
found
some
somebody
details
else
here.
after that.
See, yeah, right. That's what people do. They just say next. They just go
Next.
on to the next person. It's
Exactly
just
right.
too easy to go on to the next candidate. There are so many people out there. The statistic is for like every one position, there's between 200 and 300 people that apply
Exactly.
for that same job.
I give you an example. I still have a position over at now American Airlines. I used to work for U.S. Airways. When I got hired, this is how it happened. A friend of mine said to me, "Rick, we're going to the interview. Can you give me a ride?" I said, "Okay, well, I'll give you a ride," because I had a car at the time. It was over in New Jersey. I'm from New York, so this is in New York.
We'll have to have the New York conversation. I'm from Brooklyn. Do you know that about me?
What? Flatbush and Avenue D over here.
What? Okay, 169 Rutland Road. That was my address between Bedford and Rogers. Flatbush girl, right? Yeah. My mother went to Erasmus, right?
Oh wow! I went to Tilden.
Oh wow!
San Jose Tilden, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too far from Nazareth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, but anyway, we're reminiscing.
Anyway,
on
sorry. Shiny things. Sorry.
But so she asked me to give her a ride over to an interview because the airline was hiring. So I said, okay. At the time, I was working with my dad. We did, construction.
Okay.
So I was working with with HUD department, but working with my dad, I always got paid last.
Okay.
The last one. Oh, you're my son.
Isn't that
You get paid
interesting?
last.
Yeah. We'll pay everybody.
So it wasn't a real, a job that was really reliable.
Okay.
So I said, okay, I took her over there. And while I was there, I said, let me go sit in on this thing because, everybody was there. And I wanted to, I didn't know how long it was going to be. So I sat in on the audience. It was more like a cattle call type of thing.
Oh, okay.
So in order to not look like I was just there for no reason, I filled out the application myself. I just fill it out.
Uh-oh.
So I'm there. And then next thing you know, they're calling me.
Uh-huh.
And so now I'm caught off guard because I didn't prepare. I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I walked up to, that big interview question.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the big interview question.
That's it.
So I was totally unprepared. So I was just on a wing and a prayer, just did something because I'm like, I'm really not applying for the job. I'm just here to look like I'm applying for the job. That's what it was.
Uh-huh.
And so I went and just said anything. I just came off the top of my head. But they must have been impressed by that because it was real.
Right.
It wasn't something that was pre-staged or pre-written.
Right.
They could tell it wasn't pre-written. Everybody there was just rattling off stuff. I'm like, oh, there's no way they're going to call me because I'm just unprepared. I was just here. So that night, I get home. I get a call from them. They were like, can you come back tomorrow?
You were like, what?
Oh, my
come
goodness.
Back tomorrow?
What? I got to come back tomorrow. I said, okay, well, they must be calling everybody back. That's my thought.
Uh-oh.
So I called her, and my friend, and she says, "Oh wow, my last name is Robinson. Yours is Grant. They must be going down in alphabetic. Let me hang up the phone now."
Oh no!
You know where I'm going.
Yes, I know.
They never called her.
Oh no!
So I'm like, okay, well, they were talking about at the time. This was back at the time. It was $15 an hour pay to start.
Hey, $15 an hour is good now.
I know, but this was like 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So $15 an hour 30 years ago was
That's
like
a big deal.
Big money.
Right.
I thought I was like, I'm buying a big house. But this is where my head was. So I said, well, it doesn't hurt to check it out. So I went back. There were only 3 people there.
Wow.
And the 2 other people weren't in the session I was in.
Wow.
So apparently they had 2 other sessions. They picked one person
out
from
of
each
each
session.
Right.
And I was that one person out of all those about 40 people there. They picked me.
Wow.
I couldn't understand why.
Because you were real and the other people maybe were not.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
They were very selective.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's how my aviation career started.
Wow.
And I moved up in the company, bang, 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 to where I am now.
Wow.
I'm still there, but I'm there only about 10 days a month.
Wow.
So it's kind of a cool job. They paid me about $80,000, and then boom, I'm not there hardly. So
wow.
Yeah, and then I get to travel.
That's amazing. See, those stories are the, oh gosh, what I want to say, the things that inspire people to keep going.
Yes.
I meet candidates and they want to be, perfect and I say, in this economy, yes, you want to be prepared. Yes, you want to be professional. Yes, you need to dress appropriately. But what I really prepare a candidate for is, what is your story? Who are you
Exactly.
professionally? That's what
Exactly.
employers want to know these days. Who are you? What can you do? Do you know about our company? Do you care about our company? Are you interested in us? Because the reality in the market today is employers are looking for people who want to be committed to them, who are going to go the extra mile, who are going to do the things that other people will not do. Too often, I think in the marketplace, people go in with the what am I getting out of it? They want to know, what about your pay?
Entitlement.
That's the word. That's the word.
right
That's
there.
the word. They want to know what's in it for me. And everybody's walking around trying to get their whim fulfilled, and they forgot that the employer is actually trying to get a job done. They're trying to grow the business.
Exactly.
They're trying to make money. That's why they're there.
That's what you represent to them.
Exactly. And if at some point they feel like your representation is not going to give them what they want, they'll just be not interested in you.
Exactly. And you said something earlier about get to know your people, get to know who you're going to work for. That's one of my tips. Get to know your interviewer.
Yes.
Google them.
Yep.
Find out what they like.
Go
They like
on.
to bowl. You might drop something like that in your interview.
Right.
Yeah, I like, all the things like, and you kind of get some kind of commonality going.
Right.
with them.
Because
So
look
you
at
can
us. We just
connect
had the
with them.
Brooklyn conversation,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
How it works.
and that's what an interview is. The first thing that I tell people is that an interview is a conversation between two professionals.
Exactly.
This is In Touch News Radio. This is Working Wednesday. I am Miss D, the job coach, and we will be right back.
It's your girl, Dr. V, with Dr. V's Place. And I wanted to come to you and let you know that I am in the business of helping you get your business in order. That's right, your personal business. We're here to provide you with credit restoration, repair, education services, and give you access to some tools that will change your life and your credit standing. You guys absolutely can do it. In order to do it, reach out to me at 813-334-4841, 813-334-4841.
Hey, this is Miss K with K's Kitchen, where we're cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mouth sauce. Come check us out at our new restaurant located at 3320 East Osborne Avenue in the Jackson Heights area. We have a brand new menu which includes whole wings, catfish, pizza puffs, and much more. Call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
My name is Gil Sampson. I didn't come from a very rich family, and so paying for college would have been very tough. I don't know if I would have been able to go to the college that I went to, and then I don't know if I would have gotten into the career that I am in. So I think Bright Futures has done a lot to shape my life. Got a job as a structural engineer, and I design residential buildings, commercial buildings all over the United States. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to go to college. So many kids just don't even ever get that opportunity, and to be able to do it and not have any debt when I graduated is amazing, and it was all thanks to Bright Futures.
Florida has created more than 1 million jobs in only 5 years, and a great education connects our students to these exciting opportunities. That's why the Florida Lottery has funded Bright Futures scholarships to help over 725,000 students attend college. Because every play is for education. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's Working Wednesday. I'm Margaret DeBalot, Miss D, the job coach, and we're on In Touch News Radio. It is Working Wednesday with the job coach. Get up off the couch. Get off the couch. We're going to get a job. That's right. I know you've been sitting there thinking, I'm so tired of looking for a job. I'm so tired of not getting the interview. I'm so tired of going to interviews and they just don't work out. I'm so tired of it. Well, that's what Working Wednesday is all about. It's all about you getting the information that you need to be successful. We're going to help you. That's what Ms. D, the job coach, does. We're going to help you. And I want to help you so much. I'm so passionate about helping you that I went and got me some help. Help.
Oh my God! I saw the bat signal.
Did you see? You saw the bat signal. That's what it is. That's what it is. I put the bat signal up and I said, you know what? In 2019, I'm going to bring some help in to help Miss D, the job coach, help the community get that job. Rick, tell me a little bit about some of the experiences you've had in interviewing.
Well, like I said in the previous segment, I basically didn't know what I was doing, but I was real, and I ended up getting the job. So since then, I applied that to a lot of what I look for as I'm interviewing other people. Mm-hmm. I do Rick Grant Consulting. I have an IT firm. Basically, we do apps, website, all that stuff. I was also I was vice president of a company called GG Taurus, which was we were instrumental in bringing the three-wheeled BMW-based motorcycle, sort of like the Can-Am,
nice,
to the U.S. back in 2013. Yeah, I funded that. We got that done.
Nice.
So the bike's here in the U.S. now. And so there's a couple of things. I don't think that was on my resume.
Listen.
I've done a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna have to buy you a whole meal. It's gonna take a whole meal to get all of the information out of you. You know.
If you want to be a millionaire, you need 7 streams.
7 streams.
7 streams. So okay. My goal was to manage time. That's important. Mm-hmm. Big role in church, so I'm in church every Sunday. That's first and foremost. God is number one, and then just do what you do. We are products of what we think. If you can think it, you can do it.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So I just put myself to it, and I was able to do it.
I encourage people every day to just dig in, mm-hmm. Get up and try something. A lot of the things that I've learned, human beings are experiential learners. And a lot of the things that I've learned, I didn't learn in school. Mm-hmm. I learned being out here. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I've been out here and I've tried many, many different things, many different business ventures. I've built some successful businesses. Some of the businesses were so good that other companies acquired us. And the journey that I've traveled has all been because I accepted the risk. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Exactly. No risk.
No risk, no reward.
There you go.
And getting out here and digging into life, finding out who you are, what you're good at. And listen, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I've had jobs.
Yeah.
You have a job. I mean, the thing about it is we build our career with a variety of things. A lot of people want to just start a business and they've got no business knowledge, no business background, never worked anywhere. And they wonder why some of their customers have the experience that they have.
Right,
I'm often frustrated when I go into a business and it's evident to me that person has never worked anywhere before. They know nothing about business whatsoever. They may even have a good product. I went to a restaurant recently and they had some excellent marketing. They could churn customers through. And I say churn because they probably are constantly looking for a customer based on the size of the plate and what it cost. Mm-hmm. I did not get a good value for my investment. And I was in the restaurant and another person inside the restaurant with me said, how come her food only took 15 minutes and I was here for 30 minutes waiting for mine?
Yeah. Customer service.
And the response that the proprietor got floored me. The business owner proceeded to explain to the customer why they had to wait. And it was because they have an online presence and customers calling in and using the internet to make their orders. Their orders were stacked up. Now, he was in the building with them. And the people who are outside were seen as more important. He was in the building with them, and their idea was to explain to him why it was okay, I guess, for him to wait. Well, we have all these other orders in front of yours. And the guy's looking at them like, I don't care about that.
I'm here.
I'm in the building. He goes, well, maybe I'm old school, but the person in front of me has always been the most important person to me.
Yes. You can't go around that.
This new school of business that says, hey, don't worry about the customers in the store, because the ones that are online, you got to get them taken care of. What? That's just bizarre to me. It's like bizarro world.
Unfortunately, that's where we're going now. A lot of brick and mortars are shutting down. Like bookstores. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Everything now is on Amazon.
Yeah.
I used to go to Barnes and Noble.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me where the nearest Barnes and Noble is?
There's one on Highway 19.
There you go.
Oh, no, there's one on Dale Mabry, too. I can think of those two. Dale Mabry and, you know what? North Dale Mabry, too, has one. So that's 3. There's a triangle. Yeah. But there used to be lots of bookstores.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the little bookstores.
Yes.
The shop owner.
Mom and pop.
They know everything that's on the
Yes.
shelf. And, that's actually coming back, though. Some of that is coming back.
Yeah.
Some people are digging in and saying,
it's called back to the old school.
Yeah. Everything old is new again, right?
Yep.
We're doing the 360. And I think what we see in the future, though, is going to be a blend of that. And, having the online presence, because I have an online presence. A lot of what I do through social media, with social media, around social media, on top of social media. I get it. I get it. And the most important person is the person that's in front of me right at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And when you're in an interview, that employer is the most important person, and you need to absolutely make them feel like they're important.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when you walk into an interview, the first thing you need to do is to be very nice to everybody you come in contact with. Even the receptionist that's checking you in.
That's right.
The girl at the front desk, you got to think she's the one interviewing you.
That's right.
You got to leave an impression as you walk in the building that this person is cool. This person is somebody I would like to work with. That's what they're going to be saying.
That's right.
Their influence sometimes influences the interviewer.
Their influence is sometimes greater because the interviewer knows that you're putting on your interview face when you come in, right? And they're going to ask, so what did they do while they were sitting in the waiting room? Were you talking on your phone?
Or you're smacking gum?
What were you doing? So the person, the receptionist, I call them the gatekeeper, they sit at the front desk, and they're the person that's the go-between between you and your interviewer.
Exactly.
When you call back to follow up on your interview, they're going to decide whether or not your call gets through.
Exactly. They might say, "Oh, this person's, we don't want that person."
Yeah. I saw who dropped them off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I saw who dropped them off.
Oh my gosh.
They brought the whole family. They're going to bring the whole family to work. They don't have a babysitter. Oh my God. I saw all their kids. I know they're their kids because they looked exactly like them. All 14 of them. Right. Listen,
who has 14 kids these days?
People do have 14 kids, That's a whole nother conversation.
That's
it's a whole nother
no,
show.
Go there.
I'm not going. I'm gonna put the blinders on. I'm not going down that. But people don't take into account the other things. The subjective stuff. I interviewed someone one time, and he started telling me his personal stuff. I didn't ask him. He started revealing it in the interview. And I said, so how does that work out? And his response to it made me say, it's absolutely not you. He probably was qualified, but I'll be perfectly honest. Once he did that, I no longer had anything I wasn't listening to him anymore. Yeah. I was done, because what I saw as the interviewer was that as soon as he came to work for my company, I was going to have problems. I'm going to have problems with the other aspects of his life. He's going to be distracted. He's possibly not going to come to work. Those 4 children and those 4 mothers that go along with those children might come to work with him, might come to the job looking for him. All of these things went through my head. Now, is that right? Of course it's not.
What you're talking about is drama.
Yes, of course it's not right, but I'm telling you, these little things, when I have 20 other candidates to choose from. See, it's not that sometimes it's the subjective stuff. It's not that you're not qualified. It's not that you're not a good fit even for the company. But when I look at another candidate up against you, I think that the other candidate may be less maintenance for me as an employer.
Yes. Yeah. You also have to stand out. You just got to stand out.
For good stuff, though. You got to stand out for good things.
When I say stand out, I'm talking about when you come to the interview, wear something that is a killer. I mean, it's something that they will remember. Now, it's got to be
Appropriate.
industry appropriate.
Right.
Right. So you put something on that when the interviewer sees you, wow, he's in a nice suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looks, it's great in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this guy repping my company.
Right. Right.
All those things matter. If you come there in a khaki pants and old ratted sneakers and you're trying, but you just got to come dressed for the part.
You have to have the right appearance.
And you have to stand out. Right?
You have to have the right appearance. You have to have your story down. I tell people you have to practice. You have to practice your responses. There's a tool that I send my clients to.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's top 15 interview questions. Go out to the internet and look up that document, top 15 interview questions. Every interviewer is not going to ask you all 15 of these questions, but this is a good roadmap to use to be prepared to have the conversation with that other professional about you coming to work for them.
Exactly.
They're going to ask you questions like, tell me about a time when you did this.
Yes.
Tell me about a time when you had a customer that was disgruntled or angry.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. Tell me basically a customer service incident that you solved.
Right. Right.
And also when you answer questions, answer them with examples.
Yes.
With colorful examples.
Yes.
So people can actually see what you're talking about.
Right. That's what they want. They want you to paint a picture.
Yes, exactly.
They want to see what was the situation.
Yeah.
What action did you take? And what was the result?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So if you have numbers to quantify, I went to work for this company and when they hired me, their sales was at X%.
Yes.
And when I went in, I strategized based on what I saw was a barrier to their customers being involved. And I implemented this step and this step and this step. And the result was for the next 90 days, the sales steadily increased.
Exactly.
And at the end of the 90-day period, there was an overall 25% increase in their sales.
Yes. That is a very, very good example there. I always, every job that I've been at, everything I've done, everything I've touched, I've increased sales. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
That's the key.
That's why we're in business is to sell.
That's right. Everybody's selling something.
Everybody's selling something.
Right.
Even churches are selling something.
That's right. That's right.
So everything you do has to sell. Yeah. And so how you handle it, if you go in there and you tell them, well, sales were flat, we lost. I mean, you're not going to get the job.
Right.
Just that simple.
Right.
So you got to have that in your, in your resume, in your thought pattern as you're talking to them, how you can increase and give them examples of how you can do that.
What are the things that you actually did?
You bring to the table. Yeah.
Right. They want to see, what did you do? People ask me about, my business as a job coach. I say I developed a 4-step job search system. I use my training skills and my background in training, developing, and hiring people as a former recruiter to show my clients how they can be successful in the job search process. I use the 4 steps to help them to increase the volume of leads that they're able to find. I help them to advance their careers by developing the network around themselves, because most people, when you leave one job, your network is what's going to help you get the next job.
Exactly.
So I encourage my clients to really dig in and develop their network. If they haven't done much work on their network before now, they absolutely should embrace the opportunity to do that. And then helping them to increase their proficiency with being able to answer the questions in a robust way.
Yes.
And
you also use the company's core values in your answers.
Absolutely. Do the research.
Do your research before you get there. If the company does it, this is what they value. They value, high customer service. You incorporate that in your answers.
If the company is a green company and they focus on sustainability, you go on their websites. Companies have websites. Go on their website and learn about what they do. Learn about who they are. If somebody gave you the lead, then go and talk to that person. Hey, thanks for the lead, but tell me what you can about the company. Tell me what the focus is. Tell me about the manager. Tell me about the person I'm going to be interviewing with.
Exactly.
It's important. It's important. So one of the questions we have a question here on Facebook. It says, how do you say your feedback to the new employer from higher up? frame that question a little bit differently for me, please, Gretchen. It's critical that we are able to articulate with our potential employers, who we are,
Exactly.
right? How we're going to help their company, and from many different levels. So I think what the question is here is, how do you give them the information so that they understand that they can share it with other people in the company? Sometimes you apply for a job and it's not the job for you, but you want them to know that you're open to other things. I had a candidate that applied for one job. That job didn't work out, and they were referred to apply for something else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How, using your own words. Yes, I like that. She said, how do you use your words? You got to practice.
Exactly.
You've got to practice.
Yes.
People go in, that worked for you 20-something years ago to wing it.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't work today.
No, it does not.
Back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't
Right.
have a lot of things that employers now use as tools to
Right.
vet
Yes,
the potential employee.
that's right.
Back then it was more of what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a feel type of thing. They just looked. I didn't even fill out my resume or the application fully. I actually didn't even pay the application fee. And I was like,
Man,
I said when
this
they
dude
called
got
me,
so lucky.
when they called
So
me,
lucky.
I thought it was to get the application fee, and I said, "Geez, I already paid $10 on the tolls to get over here. I'm not paying no application fee." That was my first thought. And I thought, shoot, did I leave my wallet over there? Why are they calling me?
You didn't know they were trying to hire you. That's
I didn't know.
crazy.
It was sort of like I fell into it. Now, that can happen one out of every, like I said, it was.
1 out of every 1,000.
Yes.
You're right.
It doesn't happen every day. So
Right.
But today, in today's world, you have to be prepared. You have to make sure your social media is right. You got to make sure your appearance is right. And you just got to do the right thing.
Well, you got to have your story down.
Exactly.
That's it. Who are you? Who are you professionally, and how are you going to help this company? This is In Touch News Radio. It's Working Wednesday. I'm Miss D, the job coach.
Hi, this is Dr. Veronica Walters, also known as Dr. V, the head of school at the Walters Academy for Entrepreneurship, a place that we like to call The Way, where we're educating today's youthpreneurs to be tomorrow's billionaires through social entrepreneurship. Do you have a student who's bored, frustrated, gifted, inquisitive, creative, business-minded? Then maybe you need to check The Way out. Listen, we have an educational platform that allows for individualized instruction. It's strength-based, project-based, and designed to help your students become the absolute best they can while starting their own business and being an entrepreneur. If you're looking for something different and you need to find a more excellent way, then you need to visit us at The Way. That's The Way, www.thewaetampa.org. Or you can call us at 813-603-7923. We look forward to showing your student a more excellent way at The Way.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Good morning. This is In Touch News Radio. It is Working Wednesday. I am Margaret DeBalot, Miss D, the job coach. I got the CEOs of the CEOs and the CEOs up in the house with me today. I got DJ CEO on one side of me. I got Rick Grant, CEO, on the other side of me. Oh my goodness. So listen, we're talking about interviews today, and we were talking about the idea that an interview is just a conversation between two professionals. That's it. It's a conversation. And the way that the conversation goes smoothly is for you to practice.
Exactly.
Go get those 15 interview questions, top 15 interview questions, and spend some time with them. This is how I tell my candidates to do it. You go get those top 15 interview questions, and the first time you go through them, you just write your answers. Wing it the first time, right?
Yep.
And then set that piece of paper aside and go through the questions again. Because you've seen the questions before, your second round of answers is going to be better, right? Your first answer was good. Your second answer is going to be better. And then take that piece of paper, push it aside. Now do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Answer those questions again. You've had some time to marinate on it. You've thought about it. This answer should be your best answer. You should have the best stories to be able to tell.
Yeah.
I like it when people tell me stories.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's a good tip alert.
Alert.
Tip alert. When you're going to an interview, arrive on time. Actually, get there 15 minutes early.
Listen.
That's huge.
Now, wait a minute, but there's traffic and tolls and parking.
You have to figure that out.
Oh.
You need to figure that out. You need to get there early. This is work.
Yes.
You're preparing yourself. We work 2/3 of our lives to prepare. We work 2/3 of our lives to prepare ourselves for the last third.
Wow.
Think about that.
That's a lot of time.
2/3 of our lives is there to spend. We're killing ourselves. We're working ourselves to the bone just to live the last third. And some of us don't even get to live the last third. You might get to a third of the third.
That's right.
So
yeah, depending on how it all went, right?
Exactly.
So you got to be prepared.
You got to be prepared.
And,
but get there early is what I say. Get there 15 minutes early so you can now relax.
Yes.
Get yourself together. Take deep breaths.
Yes.
And come into the interview with a clear head.
Yes.
Not rushing. Oh my gosh, where did I park the car? Don't have all these different things going through your head. You will not ace this interview one bit.
Well, here's the thing. You did all that work. You did all that research on the company at home. You know about their values. You did the research on the interviewer, and you did all of this stuff just to botch it up by arriving late or wearing the wrong clothes and when I talk to people about their clothes, the practice, this is where the practice stuff comes in. I tell people, put the outfit on and sit in the chair and move around. Now you have camera phones, put the video on yourself and see how you look sitting in a chair. Don't sit all the way back in the chair. Sit on the edge of the chair so that your posture is good and your voice projects, right?
Yes.
So there's that part. And you said arrive on time. I tell people, do a dry run.
Yeah.
If you don't know the neighborhood, you don't know where the building is, the day before, a few days before, drive there so you can see what it looks like. Drive there before. Yeah, you might want to leave super early that morning, but you know what? If you do the drive there one time,
you'll know what to expect.
Right. When you drive the second time, you'll say, okay, I know where the building is. Okay, I'm comfortable. And then when you do arrive that 15 minutes early, you're not spending the 15 minutes decompressing from your stressful drive, searching for the door and all of that nonsense.
Yeah, I'll give you an example here. A little story. I'm commuting up to New York to go to work because I live here and in New York. So I'm on a plane and I'm sitting next to a young lady and she was chatting with me and she says, wow, what do you do? And I told her what I'm going to New York to do. And she says, this is exactly what I want to do. So I kind of interviewed her in the plane seat. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, she might work. She has the right look, the right posture. She seemed aggressive enough. That's what I was looking for, someone aggressive that's a go-getter. Not a fully A-type personality, but something close to that.
So I wouldn't work?
Well, you could work. You're just good.
I like that. Yes, because I told him I was going to buy him a whole meal. That's what it is.
So I gave her the address. I set up a formal interview.
Nice.
Everything I gave her, I said, Come in on Friday at 12 noon. When we ready, we will have two of us ready to interview you. No problem, right? 11:30, she calls and says that day, "Oh, I can't get a babysitter. Can you push it back to 1?" Then her stock starts to drop. And then at 12:30, I can't make it.
Oh no!
So I said, okay. So now I set up an interview. Remember, I told her that. So he said, well, let's try next week. Another week. So now her stocks was up. Stock was probably at 80%. It's now at 40%. But we were looking for somebody, and I thought she might work. So,
See, that's the at first sight thing. At first sight, this candidate looks good. And then as I dig deeper, as I spend more time with them, in fact, I have candidates that go on interviews that last for hours and hours.
Exactly.
And they're like, I was there for hours. I was there half the day. Oh my gosh. They showed me the whole plant. They showed me the broom closet. They showed me the back door. They said, Ms. D, why do they do all of that? I said, because they want to spend time with you to find out who you really are.
Exactly.
Because you can usually only hold up a facade for so long.
Yes.
So the longer that they spend with you, the more people that talk to you. That's the other thing. Sometimes you'll have the interview with several different people.
Exactly.
Several different people. Because different people, you're going to be working with different people. They want different people's feedback about who you are. How did you respond to them?
Yeah.
I had a candidate that flew to an interview, and I talked to her right before she left, and I said, listen, when you go, be interested in them. Be more interested in them than anything else.
Exactly.
Each person that you spend time with, let them talk. Yeah, they may ask you questions, but you will learn more about this job, the environment, what they're really offering, because some of those people you're going to be working with, guess what? You need to be interviewing them.
I was just about to say that. You need to ask questions and make these questions unexpected. Make them think, ooh, person's thinking outside the box. Ask unexpected questions for your interviewer, so they think, well, this person can think on their feet.
Right.
They can do what the job, what we're looking to hire them for.
Right.
That's a good point.
I went on an interview one time, and I asked some tough questions, and the people that interviewed me, the frontline people that interviewed me, it became obvious at a point that they were a bit frustrated at some of the questions that I was asking, because I was asking about the career development aspect of the job. Well, what was the way forward? I mean, because I was really seriously
How high up
considering.
can I go?
Yeah. Is this truly a segue to something more within the organization? And the people that were in the job were sitting there thinking, listen now, don't be asking us all them questions, because we ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere either. We want to know. And they actually said it to me in the interview. They said to me, listen, what we want to know is, do you want this job?
What I told one time, I was in one interview, I told them, I want to be in your seat doing interviews. I want to flip it.
Yeah.
So that's how high up I want to go.
Yeah.
And you just got to be confident. That's the big thing. Be confident. Don't be meek and timid and
right.
I don't know.
Be confident about who you are. Listen, I am a live and die by my decisions kind of person, and I tell people, if you go into an interview and what you say scared the interviewer, then you're probably not a right fit for them. Because I've had people that I've interviewed and they wanted a progression. They wanted an opportunity to move up in the company. And I knew the job that I had was not that. Not that they wouldn't have been good at that job, but they wouldn't have been happy there. They wouldn't have been satisfied. And in 30, 60, 90, or 120 days, I might have had to go look for another employee.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a good fit. And people say, come on, people need jobs. And I go, yeah, but companies don't want to continue to spend money over and over and over again to hire somebody who has goals and aspirations that are far beyond the job that's being offered.
Exactly. Sometimes that'll hurt you. A lot of people come in and they'll interview for the position, and they'll get the job, and then 3 months later they quit.
That's right.
So, when I interview, I'm looking for someone that I know is going to be a long-term person.
Right. This is a relationship.
Yes,
this is a relationship. People don't like the R word, but I share with them that just like you vetted the person that you're dating, just like you vetted the friends that you have in your inner circle, you need to be vetting the employer too, to see, do I want to have a long-term relationship with them? When my clients take a job, I tell them, now when you go in this job, in the first 45 days, you need to tell me if this is where you really want to stay.
Exactly. Yes.
Because if this is not where you want to stay, we need to get about looking for the job that you really want. Because sometimes you go in and it seemed like a good fit, but after you get there and you see the man behind the curtain, you decide this is not a good fit for me. And that's why you have that 90-day period. That 90 days is not just for them. That 90 days is for you too.
Well. Absolutely.
It's for you too, you know. So I encourage people, be active in your job search process. Don't be a victim to it. Don't just let them drag you through interviews and make you accept salaries that you don't want. It's supposed to be about you too. Yeah, know your worth and put yourself in position to get the job that you're going to keep. Some people have resumes that look like Swiss cheese because, I call it the Swiss cheese resume. Lots of holes, lots of gaps because they quit jobs that they just absolutely couldn't get up and go to. Physically, they were making them sick. I mean, I've had that. And I tell people, when you go into a new employer, vet them as well as them vetting you, because this is your career. 2019 is the year of your career. And if you're not in the situations that you want, you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah. Here's a tip alert. Another tip alert.
Tip alert. Here it comes.
When you leave the interview, like a day later, post interview, what you want to do is send your interviewer a note. Just send them a little note thanking them, basically, of appreciate the opportunity. This, after leaving the interview, I find this is a good place for me to work. I'm thanking you for giving me a chance to let you know more about me.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to working with you.
So what I encourage my clients to do is, at the beginning of job search, I tell them they need to go buy a box of thank you notes.
There you go.
And they need to decide, are they going to improve their penmanship so that they can handwrite it, or are they going to go, handwritten is best because people like mail.
Personal.
And I tell them, do it in traditional mail. Yes, snail mail.
Yes,
go
snail
get you
mail
some stamps, and be ready.
My son asked me what was a stamp. He had no idea what was a stamp.
How old is he?
He's 17. They do everything by email and text.
I'm smacking him.
That's just crazy to me.
I'm smacking him.
What's a stamp? Well, how much is a stamp? What's a stamp?
What? Oh no! But you know what? But in his defense, there are some things that are becoming somewhat obsolete in our world if you don't have that experience, and so that's why I teach people this in job search. Get envelopes. No, I don't want you to email it, because it'll get buried in all the other emails that they have. You need to stand out. Listen, the last time I got a piece of mail that was addressed to me, not Miss D, the job coach, here's a bill we need you to pay, not resident, not business owner, addressed to me. It was a card from my granddaughter.
That's amazing. Cards are very powerful. In New York, like I said, I do real estate law. And sometimes I go to the courts and I find clients that, they don't even know they're going to be served. So I reach out to them. When I reach out to them, I don't reach out on email. I handwrite a note, handwritten, and I mail it. Yes, with stamps.
That means
I mail it. Yeah, I mail it to them and say, listen, you're going through some things. If I can be of assistance to you, give me a call. And this is where we are.
Wow.
And it works because that's an interview. That's part of, they're interviewing me now because now when they get this, they say, well, this one's calling me, this one's calling me. How do you stand out?
This is how you stand out.
Reverse.
This is how you stand out. And we've got to find those ways to stand out. So if you're going to mail the thank you note, which is what I recommend you do, I recommend you actually do it from the parking lot. I actually recommend you have it in your car, do it from the parking lot as soon as you leave.
Fresh.
So before you leave that person's office, you need to make sure that you have the mailing address. You need to get their business card. You need to make sure that you have the information you need to do your follow-up. Yes. Most interviewers will give you a business card. Most interviewers will give you the information. And if push and shove come together and they don't have one or they don't give you one after you've asked for it, then just mail it to the building where you had the actual interview. The plan B is to send it via email if you have to, but plan A is always make sure that you're getting the information that you need to be able to do the follow-up.
That's key. That's key.
You got to do the work. So here's how I break down interviews. There's the pre-work, right? There's that working on those interview questions. There's practicing. There's getting your story together, right? Making sure that you know where the interview is, making sure that you have your outfit ready and you know what you're going to wear. You have a plan B outfit, because if plan A goes badly and you need to switch over to plan B very quickly, right?
Yes.
And then during the interview, make sure that it's an interactive conversation and that at the end of the interview, you have questions. You ask them, show them that you're interested in them. You're interested in the job. Make it not a interrogation. Please don't ask about salary. That's not the time to ask about that. It's not the time to ask about benefits. That's the time to ask about what the training program is like. That's the time to ask what the career path is for this particular employment situation. Tell me a little bit about the last person that had this job. Were they promoted within the company, or did they move on? Did they grow and develop with the company? How did this position become available? Those are great questions to ask that show that you're genuinely interested in the company and where the company's going and how you fit into it. And you get the information at the close of that interview. Please shake their hand. Please make sure that you get the business card. Yeah, eye contact throughout the conversation. If you need to practice your eye contact, get a friend.
That's huge.
Yeah.
When you look up in the ceiling, you look at the floor, that's not going to work.
Yeah, please don't stare at them though, because then you're creepy.
Don't creep. You're right.
You got to figure out the balance.
Shake their hands, a nice firm shake.
There's no such thing as a girl handshake either.
No.
I have men say to me, "Man, lady, what do you do for a living? You about to squeeze my little old hand off." I have a very firm handshake. I've heard some bones crack. But, have that handshake. Be sure you get the follow-up information so you can send a thank you note. And then afterward, please follow up. Please learn the art of follow-up. And of course, if you are looking for a job coach, I am at Miss D, the job coach, on all social media. I want to thank you, Mr. Grant, for coming and having this conversation with me.
Well, I had a lot of fun.
Good.
Thank you
did
so
too.
much.
I did
this
too.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
Really,
I'll have to have
nice.
you come back.
Yes, I'll come back anytime.
Great. I'm Miss D, the job coach. This is Working Wednesday on In Touch News Radio.